Mr. Sanjay Pugalia, Mr. Ritesh Tiwari, distinguished captains of industry, friends. My sincerest apologies that I could not be here at 7 o'clock as slated. We were in the midst of important deliberations related to the Parliament session starting a couple of days from now. And I truly regret the inconvenience caused to you. I'm indeed delighted to once again meet with friends from the Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It's been quite a long time since I last met with you in Mumbai. I'd probably come to your office, if I recollect correctly, quite some time ago.
Yes,
or was
sir.
it before I became a minister, possibly? But I do faintly recall, is it somewhere in Kalba Devi?
No, sir. It was earlier in Bella
Kalagoda?
district. Bella district it is
Kalagoda.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been there. I recall my being there. And thank you very much for the theme that you have chosen today, what we are and what we want to be. Truly very appropriate, because the India of 2023 is significantly different from the India of 2013. But the India of 2047, or any intermediate goalpost that you may choose in between, is certainly not going to be the India of 2023. So we've covered significant ground in the last 75 years of independence. I do see many milestones along this 75-year journey, but with great responsibility, I can say that the last 10 years, the last decade has truly been a defining decade, both in terms of what we inherited in 2014 and where we are today, plus the aspirational India that we are encouraging each one of the 140 crore Indians to aim for, to aspire for, which will be a new India, a developed India, a prosperous India in 2047. Friends, the entire country today is proud of the achievements of 75 years, is particularly very, very proud of the achievements of the last 9 years. What we see in India today resonates across the world. The world has taken note of an emerging superpower. Our strength is visible not only on the ground, but also in space. Chandrayaan-3 has been a matter of pride for all of us collectively as a nation, launched successfully 2 days ago. In space, India will continue to achieve many milestones in the years to come. We will probably be only the fourth country in the world to achieve the successes in space that Chandrayaan-3 is expected to be. And going forward, the private sector involvement in our space sector certainly bodes well for significant and rapid advances in the years to come. Prime Minister Modi has had 2 very successful visits internationally, amongst the many over the last 9 years. His historic visit to the United States and Egypt on the way back, also a very, very successful visit to France and UAE only earlier this week, are both testimony to the growing stature of Prime Minister Modi, who represents 140 crore Indians when he's going across borders. The 14 awards that different countries have bestowed on him plus the 5 awards given by very prestigious international organizations like the United Nations or the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, are all reflecting the growing recognition that every Indian is proud of across the world today. In fact, the award given to him recently in France is an award given to very rare personalities, amongst whom are the former Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, before that, King Charles when he was Prince of Wales, possibly, I believe, also Nelson Mandela, the likes of truly very, very great leaders. And in its 200-odd year history, very few people have been bestowed on this highest civilian and military honor of France. In fact, he is the first Prime Minister of India who received this Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor, and truly is a matter of pride for all of us Indians. When Prime Minister Modi was in the UAE, he launched the bilateral trade between rupee and dirham, another big leap in our journey to make the rupee a powerful currency recognized across borders. And the skyscraper of Burj Khalifa in Dubai, illuminated with the Indian tricolor during Prime Minister Modi's visit, was a matter of great, immense satisfaction for every Indian about the growing clout that India has on the world stage. Friends, this growing recognition across the world comes out of a significant leap in our effort to meet the basic needs of every Indian. Serving the poor, bringing good governance to India, and service with a smile, service with a sense of purpose has been the hallmark of this government. What we say, Seva, Sushashan, or Garib Kalyan. And over the last 9 years, one of the basic tenets of this government, while working towards a corruption-free India, towards transparency in every act of the government, good governance being our hallmark, our effort has been to meet the basic needs of every single Indian. And when we did that, it was without discriminating between communities, between religions, between regions, between people. बिना भेदभाव के हर एक के बारे में चिंता करना ये सरकार की एक विशेषता रही है. And we have saturated government programs. So when we look at providing homes to the poor and needy, and we are already close to 40 million, 4 crore poor and lower middle class families getting a proper home with 2 rooms, a kitchenette, a toilet, electricity at home, cooking gas at home, water coming from a tap. It revolutionizes the whole concept of a family, the living standards of a family. And in a way, 40 million people have been made lakpatis thanks to this initiative to provide a free home. And nearly 20 crore, 200 million Indians will have a better life, will have a better future. Similarly, friends, every one of the programs, whether it is the free food grain that 800 million brothers and sisters, 80 crore poor or lower middle class people receive every month, month on month, free of charge. And during COVID, the same food grain entitlement was doubled from 5 kilos to 10 kilos per person, so that not a single person had to sleep hungry all through the 28 months of COVID. It was a program which has been recognized the world over and has earned tremendous respect for every Indian, for each one of us, for the sensitivity that was displayed to take care of the less privileged sections of society. Whether it is the free healthcare under Ayushman Bharat for nearly 600 million Indians, 60 crore of our less privileged sections of society, or it is the humongous task to ensure every home has electricity, every village has a road leading up to the village, every home has a toilet, digital connectivity reaches the remotest corners of the country. Now, under the Jal Jeevan mission, every household gets water from a tap, Nal Se Jal, and I can count innumerable initiatives for improving the lives of the poor, the Dalits, the less privileged sections of societies, the marginalized section of society, our sisters, daughters, and mothers, our youth, in effect, touching 140 crore Indians through a variety of programs and schemes so that our youth, our people, our brothers and sisters, whose basic needs, roti, kapda, makan, shiksha, swas, all these basic needs being taken care of so that each one of our young brothers and sisters connected with the internet, watching the world on television, today becomes a person with fire in the belly, with aspirations, huge aspirations, aspirations for a better tomorrow, aspirations for the good things of life, providing the 3Ds that make India a great opportunity: democracy, demographic dividend, young population expected to remain young for the next 3 or 4 decades, and the demand that aspirational India generates. Democracy, demographic dividend, and demand are the 3Ds that drive our economy to become the fastest growing large economy in the world today, expected to continue on this run for many, many, many years in the near future. Atmanirbhar Bharat is our goal, and when we talk of Atmanirbhar Bharat, we are not looking at closing our doors and living in a cocoon or a shell. We are in fact opening our doors wider. We want to have greater international trade. We want to be a part of international global supply chains, value chains. We recognize that different countries, different nations, different geographies have competitive or comparative advantages which we should leverage on. But at the same time, we want to open the doors of other markets for products where we have significant skills, capabilities, and competitive edge. And therefore, a focus on free trade agreements or comprehensive economic partnerships with world leaders, developed economies, has been a core of the commerce agenda that we have. You know that over the last 2 years, 21, 22, and 22, 23, we've had record exports. Of course, unfortunately, the world seems to be moving towards a recession. Developed economies of Europe and America are under stress, very often overstocked. We have seen softening of commodities and commodity pricing and demand. Similarly, discretionary spending is very lukewarm. So gems and jewelry, textiles, leather goods, products which are our strength areas are currently under stress. In this situation, it is incumbent on all of us to work as a team and make the India story, the compulsive story of the world. The world today wants to deal with India. The world today looks up to India, not only for its economic prowess, but also for the fact that on the geopolitical stage, our relevance is becoming very, very deep and important. And in this situation, I think India is not looking to isolate. India is looking to integrate with world economy. And therefore, I can say that while we are working towards becoming more self-reliant and self-sufficient, particularly in critical areas in which we suffered during COVID, at the same time, we are now looking to engage with the developed world from a position of strength, with self-confidence in our abilities, in our capabilities, and in our competitiveness. And I must share with you that I'm finding huge traction and support from Indian industry and stakeholders in this effort to make India an important international player, an international economy, which is a part of resilient supply chains amongst trusted partners. Friends, Prime Minister Modi has initiated several initiatives like the production linked incentive scheme, our focus on R&D and innovation, our effort to decriminalize laws and reduce compliance burden so that we can make it easier to do business and attract significant investment to India, our effort to focus on the 4 L's: land, labor, liquidity, and easing of laws, our work on the 5 pillars of the economy: infrastructure, systemic changes to make it a corruption-free system, our vibrant demography, as I mentioned before, strengthening our democratic and other institutions, and finally, strengthening our macroeconomic parameters, strong foreign exchange reserves, faster growth, relatively lower inflation compared to other developed economies. All of these enablers are helping India prepare itself or create the foundation for a strong economy in the future. Our bold reforms to boost industrial production, to boost India's industry and international trade and exports of goods and services, our reforms towards ease of living, where we trust stakeholders, we trust our business persons, we trust our citizens, and simultaneously bring relief to the poor and needy, are all in the direction of making India a developed nation, a prosperous nation. In the 25 years, the Amrit Kal, as we progress to 100 years of independence, and I have no doubt in my mind that that will only be possible with the collective effort, Sabka Prayas, of 140 crore Indians, with BCCI working hand in hand with the government, both at the center and in the states, all of us with the collective commitment and a sense of duty, Kartavya Bhavna, to make India a superpower, a global power to reckon with. And for that, friends, yahi samay hai, sahi samay hai, as the Prime Minister says. This is the time, this is the right time. The world is looking up to India. Look at the traction the G20 presidency of India is getting. Look at the excitement at each one of our international engagements. Look at the world leaders coming to India, talking about Prime Minister Modi's leadership and his popularity all over the world. He is the boss, says one Prime Minister. He is the world's most loved leader, says the Italian Prime Minister. So everything is going good for India. It's for us to seize the moment. Friends, we have converted serious crisis into opportunity during COVID. We have learnt our lessons well, and our interaction today on VC is also testimony to our lessons that we learned during COVID. But it has also opened the doors to a completely new thinking where we are working online, thinking where we are bringing greater transparency to our systems, thinking where we are focusing on logistics to make it more competitive, a massive thrust towards infrastructure investments, a $1.4 trillion infrastructure pipeline through the National Infrastructure Master Plan, closely monitored by the PM Gati Shakti for ensuring timely implementation of infrastructure projects, greater public and private sector engagement, ensuring last mile connectivity, ensuring the orderly planning and implementation of infrastructure projects, and making sure that projects come up speedily to serve the people of India, whilst also saving crores and thousands of crores, or possibly lakhs of crores, which otherwise used to go in either cost overrun or the inability of people to benefit from delayed infrastructure projects. So we are working with a mission, we are working with a drive that is unparalleled in India's history. Let us all capture the moment where India is looked upon as a bright spot with global ambitions. From the fragile five to the world's fifth largest economy, this journey of 9 years has truly been an astounding journey of Sabka Saath, Sabka Prayas, Sabka Vikas, or Sabka Vishwas. Let us take this journey forward so that we eliminate poverty from this country. Let us take this journey forward on mission mode so that we continue to be the top choice of investors across the world. In fact, a very recent 2023 Invesco Global Sovereign Asset Management study says that India is the top choice for investments, according to 85 sovereign wealth funds and 57 central banks, study which came out only a few days ago. Friends, we need to leverage our edge. And what is that edge? Economies of scale, our demographic dividend, our government industry partnership, and focus on quality and efficiency, along with sustainability, and finally, our effort to protect the environment, our effort to encourage innovation, our effort to truly become globally competitive, get out of the clutches of subsidies and government directing the Indian economy, but make Indian industry, Indian manufacturing, Indian export truly global in scale, globally competitive, and stand on its own legs with a sense of purpose to achieve in the intermediate by 2030 a target of $2 trillion of exports in goods and services, to make India the third largest economy in the next 4 or 5 years, and by 2047 move India from a $3.5 trillion economy to at least a $35 trillion economy, a feat which is unparalleled in human history. But under the visionary leadership of Prime Minister Modi, something which collectively all of us are committed to achieve, something which is in the realm of possibility. And with BCCI's support, with your intellectual prowess, I am confident that your inputs will help us achieve these transformational goals. As the Honorable Prime Minister said, and I'd like to quote, the third decade of the last century gave new momentum to the struggle for India's independence. He's talking of the period 1921 to 1930, during which we had the Dandi March, during which very significant developments in our freedom struggle took place. I continue to quote, now the third decade of the new century, which is now, will give impetus to the development journey of India, of independent India. And friends, we are all stakeholders in this development journey. We are all friends who will work together, who will dream big together, who will work hard together, who will redefine the boundaries of what is possible and believe that nothing is impossible. We will all work together to make India an Atmanirbhar Bharat. We'll all work together to be vocal for local, but also take local global. Together, we can move mountains. Together, we can take India to greater heights. Let us all commit ourselves to this beautiful journey as partners in India's progress and prosperity. Thank you very much, friends, for your patient listening.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for narrating the story of India from fragile 5 to the 5th largest economy. As Bombay Chamber of Commerce, India's oldest chamber of commerce, we are committed to work with you and the government, with our members, so that vocal for local as well as local to global can be achieved. We are committed on behalf of our members to create an inclusive India which takes full advantage of its democracy, demography, and demand of an aspirational India. Thank you, sir, for your kind attendance in the 187th AGM of Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industries.
Thank you, Nilesh Bhai, and to all your friends, all the very best in your efforts. I'm sure with your leadership and the leadership of your team, Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industry will play a very important role going forward. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Over to you, Hitendra Bhai, for proposing a vote of thanks.
And clearly a very inspiring speech by the Honorable Minister, and it is therefore my privilege now to propose the vote of thanks at the 187th Annual General Meeting